Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk a little bit more about the Air Force thing, their decision, what they've decided to do, that announcement that went out, the memo. And we're going to try to put it in focus because we've had a lot of questions about it. Some genuine, some maybe they're genuine. I don't know. But one that really caught my attention was one that just says, how would you respond to this? And it's a screenshot. I don't know where the screenshot came from, but it certainly appears to be addressed to me. I've followed you for a long time, Bo. Supporting veterans? Sure. Act like the U.S. military has any good influence or redeeming factors, and I can only hope that I'm not the only one that sees through this. At least have the CIA pay you if you're going to do their dirty work. Okay. Well, first, I think you greatly misunderstand the relationship between Central Intelligence and the Department of Defense. But whatever. Good influence. Let's try it a different way. Let's say Walmart gathered all of their employees who were the parents of trans kids. And they walked in the room and they said, hey, we're going to pay for the lawyers. All of them. All the lawyers to help navigate these laws that are coming up. We're going to fund it completely. Not a penny out of your pocket. We got you. And what's better, just help the rest of the community. Once these arguments get made, we'll go ahead and put them out in the community so, people who aren't affiliated with Walmart can benefit from them. And if the lawyers, if the lawyers can't do what they should and find a way to navigate the system, we'll go ahead and pay to move you and your entire family to another state where these laws don't exist so your kids can be who they are. I think that'd be a good influence. I think that would be a good thing. Understand, that's just what the Air Force has done so far, to date, right now. That's already happening. Yeah, I think that's a good influence. I think that's a good thing. Can you imagine what would happen if every company that put a pride logo on social media backed it up with actions like this? Imagine how quickly the discussion in this country would change? Because it's all about money. It's about power coupons, right? You know who has a whole lot of those? The Air Force. And they're willing to use them for this. Why? Because they perceive a readiness issue. And right, somebody right now says, see, they're not a real ally. That's not the way they look at it. You're right. They see a readiness issue. The Air Force philosophy is that if you take care of the people will take care of the mission. That's how they look at it. Most branches don't look at it that way. The Air Force does. So they are willing to try to be proactive on this and try to kind of mitigate things beforehand so people can accomplish the mission. And that, I'm sure, is where this criticism is originating. You want to criticize the Air Force's role in American empire. I've got videos, give you tips on how to structure your arguments. You want to talk about their use of unmanned aircraft. I've got all the stats you need. I will be there backing you up with those criticisms. What can't be denied is that right now there are kids in Abilene, in San Angelo, San Antonio, Universal City, Del Rio. I can't actually think of all of the Air Force bases in Texas. There's too many. But there are kids at each one of those bases who are a whole lot safer today because of this. This is a demographic that has a history of people within it hurting themselves because of how they're treated, because they can't be who they are. They're safer today because of this policy. This is a tangible effect that has already occurred. I've made it really clear that I don't see purity testing as a good thing. You know, you roll with the allies who are ready to roll with you, right? And you move as far as you can together. If it would save the life of one trans kid, I would work with the devil himself. And that's just up to now. That's just what they've done so far. They're doing it because they perceive a readiness issue. If that readiness issue grows too large, they close a base. Forget about closing a base. Let's talk about something a little less severe. They just shift operations away from a base. Move it to another base in another state that doesn't have these laws. Power coupons. If the Air Force does that at one installation, one base, they will do more for trans rights than I would be able to accomplish in 3 lifetimes if I worked on it every day because of those power coupons. Because shifting that away to another location, it doesn't remove millions from the economy, not even billions. You're talking about trillions of dollars over the long term. That's something that gets state politicians to pay attention. But if it doesn't, I think it'd be a really good idea to draw attention to the fact that this is going on. Because those people who would be most impacted, those people who will see their property values cut in half, those people who will lose their jobs, you know where they live? Outside those bases. Meaning they're the people who voted for the politicians who put these stupid laws in place in the first place. It might be a good idea to remind them that their financial well-being is tied to their vote. It's a whole lot easier to feel good about yourself kicking down when you don't have to pay anything for it. But I'm willing to bet that if people understood it could completely destroy their economic stability, they might realize maybe this isn't such an affront at all. Maybe that's their business and doesn't have anything to do with me. Maybe I shouldn't worry about it because their wallet's going to tell them to. I think that it's a good idea to point this out. Again, you want to criticize the Air Force for its role in stuff overseas? Go right ahead. That doesn't change the fact that this policy, the stuff that's already enacted, will save lives. That's not even, it's not even a question. And to be super clear on this, although this isn't a thing, but if the CIA decided to run some operation where it was going to, I don't know, give the Air Force good PR by saving the lives of trans kids, you would find me on a bus with blacked out windows pulling into a farm. The world isn't binary. It's not black and white. It is super gray out there. And right now, the strongest ally, the one that can accomplish the most, the one that has expressed interest in using power coupons that nobody else has access to, is the Air Force. They put out the memo. They weren't pressed into that. They already did the math. They realized it's going to hurt readiness. So they put this out there. There wasn't any protest. There wasn't any boycott. There wasn't anything like that. This was a decision that was made because it's what's best for the Air Force. Maybe you don't like the Air Force. Maybe you have the criticisms I do, and that's fine. But are your criticisms that realistically aren't going to change anything yet, dealing with that stuff, is it worth ignoring the fact that what they're going to do here is going to save trans kids' lives? I don't think it is. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.